Hey everyone! I am so excited to talk with you today about using essential oils safely with your children. Super excited for this workshop, live class, whatever you want to call it. That is what we are here to talk about. So, hopefully, you were able to get the notification that I sent out a few days ago, letting you guys know that I would be here to chat about using essential oils safely with your kids, and hopefully you have your questions ready for me. So, first off, I am going to be reviewing some information. So, I'm going to talk a little bit, and then we are totally going to be opening this up for a Q&A style session. So, let me go ahead and get started. You guys can have your questions handy. And if you have a question specifically about what I'm literally talking about in the moment, that is totally fine. Go ahead and post your question, and hopefully Facebook will show it to me and I can go ahead and get started with that and answer you as I go and as I see them. Hey, Susan. Hey, everyone. Hey, Roxanne, if you are watching now, if you could share this into the group for me, that would be fantastic. That way, everyone in the group can also take a look at see what we're doing. Hey, Julissa. P.S. for anybody that is there in the group, you have to actually comment on the public page live over here because I'm not going to see your comments in the group because that's going to be on the live in the group, and I'm only right here right now. But you guys can at least watch it from the group and hop on over to our public page. So let's get started. So I thought I would try something a little bit different today. And I have little papers that I'm going to hold up with little notes because I want to make sure that you guys understand some things that I'm going to say. So I have this little paper up here. So if it's distracting, just say, Leah, you know what? That's just not working for you. Don't really care about that. Just put the papers down and let's focus. And that would be totally fine. So, the reason why we need to talk about using essential oils safely with children is because there is a myth out there that because essential oils are natural, that they are safe and can be used with anybody at any time for any situation in any way possible, even with our children. And that simply is not the case. Now, there are medicines out there, right, that have specific purposes. Some medicines are for psoriasis, some medicines are for IBS. There's a whole bunch of different pharmaceuticals and different things you can do, whether they're herbal, whether they're pharmaceuticals, or whether they're essential oils, and they have rules. Usually, when you turn it over, you see the drug facts, and it says only for adults or only for kids between this age and this weight, and take it this way this many times a day. There's a lot of rules surrounding certain medications and other remedies that we may choose to use. Essential oils really aren't that much different. There are specific essential oils for specific reasons. Some are safe for all ages, and some are not safe to use with our children. So, unfortunately, I don't know about you, but all of the essential oils that I buy actually don't have any sort of indication as to the safety on them. There's nothing there saying, well, you know what, this one should be used for ages 10 and above. You know what, this one shouldn't be used under age 2. You know, this one's really great for bug bites. This one is actually really great for focus, and so on and so on. There's nothing. So we are left guessing. And because there's that sort of blank slate of information that doesn't come with the essential oil bottles, we are left to wondering what we're supposed to do. And so, because there's no purpose on it, we might choose to use it however we want to. You know, we buy coconut oil in the store, we buy olive oil in the store. So we're like, okay, well, essential oils, okay, same thing, right? It's not the same. So we are going to go over let's see, what are we going to go over? We are going to go over some basic guidelines of using essential oils safely with your children. I am going to go over the essential oils that are safe to use with your children, essential oils you should avoid using with your children, and why, when you want to use them. So if there are essential oils that aren't safe for your kids that you want to use, what do? Does that mean you can't use it either? Let's find out. So this information is taken mostly from my mind and my memory, but also referenced over in our brand new learning center. So some of you have already downloaded the guide to using essential oils safely with children that's over there. And you can find all of this information over at leahjacobson.com. Scroll down till you find the yellow box, enroll for free, click children on the menu, and you are in. You have all of this stuff. So you don't have to take any notes. All of this information is right over there for you to reference at any time. So there can be serious adverse consequences to using essential oils with your children if they aren't safe to use with your children. So what you want to do is you want to go over these few basic guidelines. I'm talking to myself. Okay, Leah, go over the basic guidelines. So this is what we want to do. We want to use essential oils cautiously. Use with caution and have a good reason. Have a good reason. So be aware that essential oils are powerful. They are powerful. Have a specific reason for using the essential oils. Don't just throw something in your diffuser and diffuse it because it smells pretty. That is not a good reason. That is like drinking cough syrup because it tastes great. Okay, so it doesn't, but you know what I'm saying. Now, it is recommended that you avoid using most essential oils with children under age 6 months. So this would be, do not use them at all. Do not diffuse them. Do not apply them topically. Just completely avoid under the age of 6 months. Now, this is a general rule, and we will talk more about this. Okay, general rule. And that's simply because their lungs are still developing, their immune system's still developing. They're really delicate. They're very sensitive to many aromas. They can smell us from, okay, maybe not quite a mile away, but they can sense us. They know our heartbeats. They can smell, oh, that's mom. They're comfortable. They have very sensitive noses, and, they are just super sensitive in general. Essential oils are very concentrated, so it can overwhelm them, and they are more sensitive to essential oils at that age. Now, we also want to make sure we are careful up till age 2, especially when we are talking about topical use. And again, this is just one of the basic guidelines. We will get into more in a minute. You basically want to avoid using essential oils, even topically, up till age 2 years old. Now, there are some exceptions. If your 1-year-old gets stung by a bee, it's totally fine to put diluted essential oils on the bee sting or on the bug bite, or if they get chicken pox, or if they have, a scar that you're trying to heal, any of that stuff. There are exceptions to the rule, but as a guideline, no inhalation under 6 months, no topical use under 2 years old. Now, even if the essential oils are safe, so let's go through right now. Hey, Laurie! Let's go through right now and talk about using the safe essential oils. But before I give you a partial list of what is safe to use around your children, let's just make sure that we are on the same page here, okay? It doesn't mean you can go willy-nilly and start slathering the essential oils on your child just because they're safe with kids, okay? We still want to keep some of these things in mind. So even if they are safe, you want to use them appropriately in the right situations with the proper dilution and the proper application. So this means you want to use your brain when you're using them. You don't want to dunk them in the essential oils. You want to dilute them first properly, and that doesn't mean a drop of carrier and a drop of essential oil. You probably want to dilute it a little bit more than that. If you are using essential oils for focus, you don't want to apply them topically. You want them to inhale them. So depending on the situation, you want to use them correctly, whether it's inhalation or whether it's topical use. You want to know the how and the why of what you are doing. You want to make sure you are diluting it correctly, you are applying it to the correct place, and it's probably not going to be on the feet. So with all of that in mind, you want to make sure how you are using them right. You want to make sure that it is safe for the child And all of those things and all of those questions can be answered if you leave us a comment here. We can help you figure that out. Now, some of the essential oils that are going to be safe to use with children are essential oils like bergamot, cedarwood, copaiba, fir needle, geranium, helichrysum. Now, these are all in a list over at the website that I explained, leahjacobson.com. Scroll down to the yellow box, enroll in the Learning Center, click Children. You can download the guide over there, but there are lavenders that are safe. There are lavenders that are not safe. So you want to make sure that you are checking out the botanical name as well. So I have the botanical names here included along with just the name of the essential oil so that you know exactly what you are using is going to be safe. Sweet orange is safe, lemon, sandalwood, tea tree, those are going to be safe. Some more essential oils that are safe for kids are chamomiles, juniper, mandarin, sweet marjoram, neroli, black pepper. So there are lots of essential oils that are safe to use with your kids. I can't think of any situation that you may have that you are dealing with your kids that there isn't a safe alternative to some of the unsafe ones out there that might be recommended to you by somebody selling you essential oils. There's always something safe. Essential oils are filled with awesome therapeutic properties, and there's going to be something for everybody, and there's going to be something safe for any age depending on what the situation is. I can help you out with that. So just because, and I'm about to read you a list of some of the essential oils that I don't recommend using with children and why, but just because there are some essential oils that aren't safe doesn't mean that you can't use essential oils at all. So I know some of you may have heard me talk about eucalyptus essential oil to avoid using eucalyptus and rosemary essential oils with children under the age of 10 and peppermint with children under the age of 6. That doesn't mean you can't help your kid when they're congested. It just means you have to use something different, something just as effective that will work, but yet will actually be safe for your child without causing any adverse reactions. So let's take a look at some of the essential oils that I do not recommend that you use around your children. So some of these are actually not safe for any age, such as anise and fennel and nutmeg. I don't recommend anyone use those because they are potentially carcinogenic and they can cause hormone issues as well, some of them. Now, sweet birch and wintergreen also can be a concern for anyone of any age because they are blood thinning. They are anticoagulant, but especially with children, we want to avoid using them with children. Now, cardamom, just like eucalyptus, just like rosemary, is high in 1,8-cineol. Now, 1,8-cineol is one of the constituents in rosemary, eucalyptus, and cardamom that can cause breathing issues with young children. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, wait a minute, isn't rosemary good for congestion? Isn't it supposed to help you breathe? Well, strangely enough, it can actually cause breathing problems for people with asthma, for people that are either elderly or young children. It can actually cause breathing issues as well. So you're better off sticking with fir, spruce, pine, one of those, unless you're allergic to trees. That might be an issue. But that is going to be safe for all ages, whereas a high 1,8-cineol has been known to slow respiration and cause labored breathing in young children. So be very, very careful with that. Cassia is one that you want to avoid using topically, along with clove, with kids under the age of 2. Cassia and clove both have a really low topical max, and that is why if you are under age 2 or if you are elderly, your skin is thinner. Your skin is going to be more sensitive to things being applied to them, and in which case a much lower dilution is going to be super effective if you have thinner skin than if you have a thicker skin, like between your 20s and 40s and 50s. You're going to have a little bit thicker skin, and the essential oils you can do with a higher dilution without the possibility of adverse reactions because of skin health and skin thickness. So there are a few others as well, lemongrass, ylang ylang, that are both recommended to avoid under the age of 2, And again, both of those have very low topical max dilutions, and that is partially why. And because of those they have low topical max dilutions because they can possibly cause sensitization if not properly diluted. So there are some you just want to be super careful with. Oregano is another one to avoid underage too. And oregano is another one that actually has other safety issues as well. I know it's super popular. I literally just saw somebody in my Facebook feed just a couple of hours ago recommending oregano internally to help with cold and flu. And that is not something that I recommend. Oregano, yes, it's super strong, it's super powerful, it's antiviral, it's antibacterial, but it's also anticoagulant. It can thin your blood. So pick something that's antiviral, like tea tree essential oil, that doesn't also have a bunch of other safety concerns as well. And peppermint, I mentioned, is not recommended for under age 6. That is due to the menthol in the peppermint. Now, all of these that I mentioned should be avoided topically and should be avoided breathing in. So whether it's diffusing, whether it's a personal inhaler, if they are breathing it, it's not going to be safe for them. So now let's jump on over to the topic. What if you want to use them? What if there are some essential oils like peppermint that you want to use for sore, achy muscles, but you are like, oh great, my 4-year-old, my 2-year-old, they can't smell the peppermint, so what am I supposed to do? Well, there are a few things that you can do. Now, if it's something like for a headache, where did my inhaler go? Here it is. If it's something like for a headache that you can inhale it, use a personal inhaler. This is what a personal inhaler looks like. You add the essential oils directly to the wick right in here, and then you can breathe it in through the top with these holes right here, and then you are only exposing yourself to the peppermint or whatever it is that you choose to inhale. This is something that you are using in your little space that you are not exposing your kids to. Same with the workplace. I had a question the other day. What can I diffuse in the workplace? It's like, well, use a personal inhaler because there could be somebody else in your workplace that could be sensitive, could be allergic, that could interact with their medications, whatever it is. Use a personal inhaler. Then you are only affecting you. Okay? You're only affecting yourself. You're not putting your aroma onto other people, and that could potentially affect them. Now, if you do decide to diffuse, you want to make sure your children are not in the room. So if they're away, if they're asleep, if they're outside, make sure that you are diffusing in an area that they are simply not in. So as long as they can't inhale it, it won't affect them. Now, back to topical use. A minute ago, I mentioned using peppermint essential oil for achy muscles or something where you want to apply it to your body. How do you get around that? Well, you can apply it under your clothing. So you can apply it, put your clothing on, and then it's not going to be very strong around them. You can wait 15 minutes, 20 minutes if possible. I know some of you with young ones are like, my kids never leave me alone. They're always on top of me. So at least make sure that there's some clothing between your application of the peppermint or whatever that it may be and your child. As the most time that you give between applying it and your child smelling it, the better. Because it will evaporate, it will dissipate, it will fade, the aroma will fade, and it will be safe for your kid to come around when you can't smell it that much anymore. So if you are using wash-off personal care products, like if you are in the shower, if you are washing your hands and then it's all washing off, then it's going to be fine to be around your kids a lot sooner than if you put, a 5 to 20% dilution of peppermint all over your muscles. So just be aware that if they can smell it, it affects them. And the reason why I keep saying that is because I get questions like, well, if I diffuse it, is okay? Like if they inhale it, is it okay? It's like, no, don't apply it topically and don't expose them to the aroma either. Because in the situation of eucalyptus and rosemary, cardamom, and peppermint, it's the inhalation, it's the breathing of it in that can cause those issues. So you definitely want to avoid inhaling those or having them inhale those as well. So I am wrapping this up. I'm trying to get through it because I don't want to be long-winded, and I want people to be able to view this without feeling like they have to sit here for 45 minutes. So I do have a guide to using essential oils safely with children, and you can find that on my website. So I'll say it a little bit more slowly now, or maybe, you know what I should do is let me do this. So you can go to leahjacobson.com. You want to look for the Learning Center links or scroll down until you see the yellow box that says Using Essential Oil Safely Learning Center, and you can enroll for free. I have it behind a membership because Facebook is getting really delete happy, really spam happy, really I don't like what you're saying happy. And they flagged some of my stuff because I use medical terms, which according to the FDA is fine because I don't sell essential oils. But according to Facebook, they don't like it when I talk about antiviral essential oils, when I talk about any of that stuff. So I put my content behind a free membership. And the reason why is they've actually dinged my stuff because they don't like what I say on my website page. They don't like what I say on my own website. So I can't even put stuff for free on my website. I have to put it behind a membership. So it's absolutely free for you guys to enroll. Once you are in there, click Children in the tab on the menu, and you can get all of this information, all of the lists of essential oils that are safe, that are not safe. You can download the guide, all of the botanical names, all of the Latin names with that as well, and all of this stuff. And what's really cool is you can actually leave comments over there too. So if you have a question about anything that I've said after you go over there and after you read it, you can leave a comment below and I will get an email notification and I will come right back and reply to you as soon as I get it and as soon as I see it. Trust me, the email notifications are a lot faster and they are reliable as opposed to Facebook notifications because those do not work very well. So you can find all of that information over there. Okay, so now I'm going to dig into some of your questions. I'm going to actually open a page over into our Facebook group as well, because I'm sure you guys also have questions over there, and I want to make sure that I get all of your questions too. So let's start looking at some of the questions. If you have questions, type them out. I know some of you were prepared and ready. Alrighty, so let me see. Jennifer's asking, that's right, I can add this to the broadcast. So you know what? I'm going to move. Hang on one second, Jennifer. I just want to make sure this is easy for everybody. I'm going to go ahead and throw that up there in case you guys continue to need the link. So question, anything I can use around my 4-year-old for asthma? He can't seem to get a good night's sleep due to coughing. I cannot specifically address the asthma because, and we do have a link, Roxanne, if you can throw that in, that would be super awesome, but it's using eossafely.com/asthma. I'm still working on pulling all of the information from my website into the Learning Center, so please be patient with me. That has not moved over yet. The thing with asthma is there are certain essential oils that are helpful for asthma. The same ones can actually trigger reactions. So because I like to sleep at night and I'm not okay with somebody's kid being unable to breathe, that I'm leaving up to you. So I'm letting you know that the same ones can cause issues, and I'm just not okay with saying try it when we're talking about breathing issues with our children or potential breathing issues with our children. However, there are essential oils that you can use for congestion, and they are not on the list of definitely avoid if you have asthma. And you can find that for free in our EO Recipes Club. So if you go to leahjacobson.com and you scroll down until you find the green box, you can click through there and you can enroll in the Recipes Club. There is a free level available, and I do have the congestion information available. It's a steam inhalation link, but it does give you a couple of essential oil options that you can use that are good for congestion and good for breathing. If you are VIP already, then you will have all of those recipes unlocked for you. Now, for those of you who have not yet heard about the EO Recipes Club, do not underestimate all of the free information that is found in the introduction posts. So I have about 7 recipes that are available at the free level, and this is to get you guys aware of, how this is, how this works. You can see all of the information that I list for safety, who should avoid it, substitutions, all of that good stuff. So there are a few recipes available, but there's also a lot of information and a lot of the topics in the introduction posts. All of the introduction posts are available at the free level. Some of them are a little bit more sparse than others, but there's a ton of information in there. So if you have any questions, please feel free to either leave them here in our group, on a page, over there, wherever that you feel like you want to leave the question, and I can help you further with details on that. So hopefully that helps you answer your question. It's just asthma is just such a tricky one. All right, you are welcome, Julissa. You are very welcome. Bethany, you said no one should be using fennel. Is fennel sweet the same thing? Yes. So there is sweet fennel and there is bitter fennel, and they both have the same precautions. They are both potentially carcinogenic and have other issues as well. Even if you use it, you have to use such a low topical max. You're really not going to get benefit out of it. So if there's a reason why that you feel like that you want to use fennel, let me know exactly what you think you want to use fennel for, and I will give you a safe and just as effective alternative that isn't potentially carcinogenic. So yeah, I do not recommend anyone use fennel. Now you can actually, let me go ahead and, so this is the EO Recipes Club link because this is the one I use when I go live in our group. Let me go ahead and, no, I think, you know what? I can just give you the same instructions. Okay. So, no, actually, no, it is. Hang on. Sorry. I second guessed myself and then I realized that no, you were actually right the first time. So, if you go to EO Blends, no, EO. Okay. I got it now. Okay. Sorry, guys. Took me a second. Okay. EO Singles. That's what it is. Okay. So, if you go to leahjacobson.com/EO Singles, there is a free level available for you so that you can actually access all of the information and the safety for fennel essential oil. There are about, shoot, I forget now. I think there are like 30 different single essential oils available at the free level over there for you. And fennel is one, nutmeg is one. I think oregano is one. There's a few others as well. So these are the essential oil single safety files, and it gives you all of the safety listed for all of the different, over 240 different essential oils. Actually, also have a print version as well. But you can get access to the online version. There is a free level. You can get all of the safety for fennel right over there so you can understand where I'm coming from when I say that you should probably avoid fennel essential oil. All right, so let's see if there's any other questions. Monica has a question. What do you recommend for an 8-year-old with the flu? I would recommend elderberry for absolutely sure. You can find that on our regular website because I have not moved that over yet. So let me do this. So if you go to usingeosafely.com/elderberry, you can find my recipe for elderberry syrup. There's also other information over there on how to help with colds and the flu as well. I would probably be diffusing tea tree essential oil and lemon essential oil intermittently in the room. It depends what other symptoms are involved. Definitely hydration. If you can do some homemade chicken soup or some chicken soup, keep those, keep him or her hydrated. There's just so many things that you can do just for overall, the flu, natural health, colds, all of that, even that scary C virus that's going around as well. But elderberry has been proven to stop a virus in its tracks and to help accelerate the whole healing process. So I would suggest the whole family take it in case, there's probably germs going around. It is safe for all ages. It's something that anybody can consume. And I have all of the directions and instructions over there. But that is something that, like I said, can shorten the duration of an illness as well as actually prevent it. So that is something that I would recommend. And if you have any more specifics about symptoms, please let me know and I can help with specifics as well. So Bethany said, okay, perfect. So you bought fennel for car sickness. I do have some alternatives and I will also check out that link. Thanks for the info. Yeah. This is honestly the first time that I've ever heard anyone using fennel for car sickness. Usually I hear, take it to boost your milk supply, which is completely unsafe. But for car sickness, yeah, I definitely would try something different. If it's an inner ear issue, it's possible that no essential oils are going to be helpful for that. But if you need help with calming, then I would suggest something like sweet orange or mandarin or tangerine. Anything that when you are inhaling it makes you feel good, calm, and relaxed. For some, that might be lavender. For others, it might be geranium. So, yeah, definitely avoid the fennel for sure. Okay, so, oh, awesome. So you do take elderberry daily and you make it perfect. So that is definitely something I would recommend. Yeah, keep the liquids going. I know it's really hard when you don't feel good and you're doing a lot of sleeping to want to drink anything. Just do your best to try to help them out with that. And you can actually make elderberry popsicles. I've actually done that before, and that can be helpful as well. Is there an essential oil that can help bring down a fever? Well, fevers, unless they're completely out of control, are actually there to help kill the germs. So, if your child has a fever, that's actually a really great sign that their immune system is doing what it was created to do. And when your body heats up to that certain temperature, it's hot enough to kill off those germs. So, I would highly suggest, you know, hydration. Again, keep the liquids going. Just support the immune health overall. If it gets crazy out of control, then that's another thing that you can discuss with your doctor. Like, what's that temperature? I know for me, I started to really keep an eye on it after 102, because 102 is actually the perfect temperature for killing all of those germs. So, cool, face cloths, run under cool water, put it on their head. Elderberry is great. Liquids, liquids, liquids. And just, yeah, make sure that fever does its thing and helps kill the germs. Because a lot of times, we're like, oh, it's a fever. Let's stop the fever. It's like, well, the fever's there to do a job. So if you force the fever down, like by taking certain medications that will seriously just force the fever down, then your child could actually be sicker longer because their body is still trying to deal with those germs, but it doesn't have the extra boosting power of the fever temperature helping to kill those germs. And I think we actually have a link about that. Yes. So Roxanne posted a link using eossafely.com/fevers for more information. And again, please be patient with us as we are actually moving things off of our main website into the free membership area, which again is at leahjacobson.com. Scroll down until you find the yellow box. Enroll for free. It's behind a membership because Facebook is getting censorship happy. And I just want to make sure that you guys still have access to the information without getting into trouble and not following their rules that they're imposing upon every single soul on here. But, it's their thing, it's their rules. So, I did have a question as you guys are still typing out your questions. I did have a question that I got in my email. I sent out an email. I'm like, if you can't make it to the live, just email me back with your question and I can address it live. So I know this time didn't work for everybody. So let me find where that is as you guys are typing in your questions. So keep them coming. Let me take that off for a second. There we go. Okay, so there was a question from Nina who said she had a question about, right. So I have small children, 8 months to 6 years. I've read that oil used for those under 2 years old is not recommended because their immune systems are still developing. Makes sense. Does that mean topically and in a diffuser? Because of my lack of knowledge, I very rarely use anything topically on myself and definitely the kiddos. Certainly not orally. And since I have a baby, I only diffuse in the big boys' room or mine on a limited basis, but sometimes I want to diffuse something in the house, whether it's to clear the air for allergies, immune stuff, or to create some calm. 3 boys, hello! I stopped using any oils when I was pregnant and breastfeeding because I err on the side of caution. Thanks so much. There's so much information and so little time to research. That was a very long way of asking a pretty simple question. Sorry, thanks again for all you do. So, yes, that does mean topically and in a diffuser. If we are talking about under age 6 months, that would be topical and diffusing. Over age 6 months, you can start to think about the inhalation, but you don't want to overdo it. And over 2 years old is when you can start thinking about topical use. Now, I did go over some exceptions earlier in the broadcast. of when it would be okay potentially to expose your child to either diffusing or topical use. But you definitely want to make sure that you are using child safe essential oils. And I love, Nina, that you are being very cautious. And when you are diffusing, it is actually for a specific reason, which is fantastic. There are people that diffuse just because they like the aromas, and that is not a great idea to do. So I am going to email her back and make sure she has a link to the guide for using essential oil safely with children, so that she can print that out and have access to that information anytime that she needs to grab it. So let me hop on over to the let's see, the Facebook group, because we are on the public page right now, and I think some of you are over there also watching, and you may have questions over there. Hey Sharon, thanks so much for joining. Awesome. So are there any other questions about using essential oils safely with children? Hopefully I've taken a lot of the work out for you because I was able to compile that guide. I think a lot of you have actually downloaded already. And I'm going to poke around in our pending posts area because there are a couple of questions about using essential oils with children too. So Priyanka has a question about recommendations for a 2-year-old with hand, foot, and mouth. So this would be a situation where topical remedy is going to be necessary. I'm just looking this up really quickly on Google to make sure, yes, so that is a virus. I just wanted to be sure that I remembered that correctly. Sometimes when I'm live and I'm like, okay, this, okay, that, I'm like, wait a minute, is that actually correct? So hand, foot, and mouth can actually be treated in the same way as chickenpox. And that is because it is a virus. I just wanted to make sure it was a virus. Yes, it's a virus. Chickenpox is a virus. A lot of the flu is a virus. So for those of you who access our EO Recipes Club and you are looking for anti-germ essential oils, you want to click on virus. That's where you can get the free hand sanitizer recipe and the other recipes for virus as well. So I would suggest, Priyanka, that you go ahead and access the free level of the EO Recipes Club and get some ideas. Click on the chickenpox link in the menu for some ideas. So topical application is going to be best. You want to use something like lavender. You want to make sure to dilute it. You want to make sure that you are not using a roller bottle. If you use a roller bottle on a viral issue, you could contaminate the roller bottle. You can spread it. You can definitely cause it to last a lot longer than necessary. So I would suggest that you use the essential oils on a Q-tip, diluted and dabbed directly on the sores to help prevent the spread of the virus, and then to throw the Q-tip or the cotton swab away, or the cotton ball away when you are finished, to make sure that it doesn't spread. And that can help not only with healing, it can help with the virus, it can help with itching, it can help with making sure that there are no scars behind as well when you use the essential oils for that issue. Monica is asking, diffuse or topically with the tea tree oils for the 8-year-old. I would diffuse it because it will kill the airborne germs. So I would diffuse the tea tree essential oil. That way, they're breathing, they're breathing out the virus, and that way you can kill the virus that's airborne with the tea tree and lemon essential oils that are airborne in the room. Bethany's question, I keep seeing recommendations for using oils in the bath. Is this safe, or would it be just as effective to diffuse in the room? Well, it depends on the purpose of you wanting to add them to your bath. If you want something calming and relaxing, yeah, absolutely. Diffusing is going to give you the same benefit as putting them in the bath. If you are wanting to add them to the bath because your muscles are achy, well, I would suggest Epsom salts, and there are safe ways to add them to the bath if you choose to add them to the bath. Now, you bring up a great point, because you can absolutely diffuse in the room for relaxation and get the same effect without having to worry about any topical maxes. Some people like ylang ylang essential oil without realizing it has a topical max of 0.8%, and they're adding it to their bath, and they wonder why their skin is red. That can happen. So you want to make sure, if you do use essential oils in the bath, that you definitely add them to a carrier oil first. Use no more than 5 drops of essential oil, And we do have a link for that. If you go to usingeossafely.com/bath, you can find our information on using essential oils in the bath. So definitely add a carrier oil as well to those Epsom salts to make sure that if there are any essential oils that are floating on the surface of your bath, that it doesn't hit your skin undiluted and cause potential issues. Now, that being said as well, you can't just add anything to the bath. You want to make sure that what you're adding is going to be safe for the person in the bath, that if there are any topical max issues, that you address those. Do not go over the topical max. Preferably use something that does not have a topical max. Make sure there's no drug interactions or any of that stuff as well. As always, check the safety of the essential oils before you use them to make sure that they are going to be safe for you or whoever is using those essential oils. Okay, so Julissa has a question. Recommendation for an 8-year-old child in the autism spectrum to help support anxiety, calming down, especially outdoors. So if it is a personal inhaler, how often can the child use it, inhale it during the day? Thanks. Perfect. So I love how you gave me a specific symptom, because I get asked, like, what can I do for autism? It's like, well, what are the symptoms? What can I do for ADD? It's like, well, there's different things out there. There's going to be different remedies, and there's going to be different things based on what symptoms your child has. So as for anxiety and calming down, I do have some information over in our recipes club. So leahjacobson.com, scroll down till you hit the green box, enroll for free. Click on the introduction. Once you click on anxiety/stress, you can find some information in there to help. Now, there are some essential oils that are inherently calming, those being lavender for a lot of people. Some people it's stimulating. Lavender, sweet orange is another one, mandarin, geranium. I would actually like to ask you what essential oils that you already have, because I can go from there and say, okay, you have 2 or 3 that are great for calming. See which ones that your child actually likes to inhale. Because sometimes if you have several essential oils that are good for a certain situation and the person really does not like the aroma of some of those, you want to choose the ones that they do like. So if you know your 8-year-old really loves the smell of lavender but doesn't like the smell of geranium, go with the lavender. So that would be my suggestion, and I do recommend a personal inhaler. That is going to be something that I definitely advise for most people to use for inhalation. It's going to be excellent to carry around, put in the pocket. And as for how often the child can use it, that is really going to be dependent on how often they are feeling anxious, how often they need to calm down. So generally with personal inhalers, you are going to have 1 to 3 deep inhalations. So when your child uses an inhaler, I suggest they put it close to their nose and breathe in a long breath and then let it out through their mouth. They can do that 1 to 3 times. Now, your 8-year-old, 1 deep inhalation may be perfect, may last for an hour, may last for a couple of hours. Your 8-year-old may need 3 inhalations. Your 8-year-old may need it hourly, may need it every 4 hours. It's really going to depend on the child, on the situation. If you are finding your child is seeming to need it every 30 minutes, then I'm going to suggest that the essential oil in there is probably not going to be very effective, and or there's something beyond essential oils that your child needs. The other option is to use an aroma necklace. So if they are, some 8-year-olds can be fine with jewelry and some aren't that fine with jewelry. But you can use a diffusing pendant like this one, and they can just pull it right up to their nose and inhale. They can use a bracelet like this one. They can put it right up to their nose to inhale. But a personal inhaler can be put in their pocket. So a jewelry may be an option if they are prone to losing things, that if it's not in their hand, they're going to just forget about it. So that would be another option as well. So let me know which essential oils you have, and I can help you pin down exactly what you already have that can work in that situation. So let me see. I think there's a couple of other essential oil questions to do with children that are impending. But as you guys have questions, if you have any questions about using essential oils with children, please leave me a comment here. I'll be on for about 15 more minutes. So please go ahead and add your questions now. Let's see. I'm just looking for another. Yes, perfect. So Sarah's question is about using the anti-germ inhaler with lemon and tea tree in front of her 16-month-old's nose. So she's like, can I waft the anti-germ inhaler in front of my 16-month-old nose for protection when we're out? Yes, Sarah, you absolutely can do that. So this is something that I've suggested in the past. If your child is like under age 6, simple wafting may do the trick. These inhalers can be pretty intense. Putting it directly up to the nose may be too intense for some children under the age of 6. Doesn't mean it's dangerous. You know your child, just figure out what works. But 16-month-old, wafting it is going to be enough. Essential oils are volatile. That means they evaporate, and you will be able to smell them just by going like this. That is totally fine. You can absolutely waft it. Now, I think Sarah's question stems from the other day when I went live and I talked about hand sanitizers and that C virus going around and the things that I suggest that people can do to help protect themselves from the germs. And one of them was the anti-germ inhaler. So you can absolutely put lemon and tea tree in a personal inhaler. And I recommend, when you're driving, keep it in your car. But before you get into the store or before you go on a play date or before you start visiting relatives or whatever that you are doing, pull out the inhaler just before you get out, pass it around, everybody deep inhale. Then you have those antiviral, anti-germ essential oils in your system, in your lungs, circulating so that as you are around people, it can help combat those germs. I used to do this more when my kids were smaller. We did that before going into the store. And then when we came back into the car, we would do it again and we would use a hand sanitizer. And that helped a lot. I really feel like it helped a lot to keep the germs at bay. So that is something you can do for your kids. Just waft it in front of their noses. And that can help them as well. You are welcome. So Julissa, you have lavender, sweet orange. Perfect. I would actually blend the two of those together. And I would absolutely try that and see if that works. Both of those are calming, and when mixed, it actually smells really nice. So hopefully that will work for you. And if you are not sure already, some people have never even heard of personal inhalers. You can put about 15 drops inside of the wick here. It probably will hold more, but 15 is the number that we generally recommend that you put in your inhaler. So Johanna is asking a question. I'm a nursing mama. Can you recommend something I can use for muscle relaxation that is safe to use while nursing? I struggle with tight neck, shoulder muscles frequently and have for years. Interested in adding oils to help, but a lot of blends I've seen have oils that I don't think are safe while nursing. Yes, there are some essential oils. Type in the comments below the essential oils that you have, and I can help you there so you don't have to necessarily go out and buy any. Peppermint is my number one. However, because you are nursing for some women, peppermint can actually reduce milk supply temporarily. So let's just put that aside for now. That is something that you can think about later after you are done nursing, probably in a couple years or so. So meantime, you can use copaiba, you can use helichrysum, but let me know which essential oils that you have, and that can help me. There are several that come to mind for muscle relaxation. And then so you only have lavender and tea tree right now. Use a lavender then. I would use a dilution of lavender. And the massaging alone can help, even without the addition of essential oils. But I would definitely, see if you, I know it's so hard. You have a little one and it's hard to even get out of the house, much less make appointments for anything. But if you can get a visit with a massage therapist, oh my gosh, it's just absolutely amazing. So I would highly recommend trying that. Try baths. You can add lavender essential oil, no more than 5 drops, to a carrier with bath salts. Put that in a bath. Try a heating pad. But as far as essential oils that are safe, you have lavender. I would just go for that, and I would try that right now. And you probably would want about a 5% dilution. Maybe start with a 3% dilution, somewhere in there. It depends how bad that it is. But hopefully some of those suggestions can help you out there. I do have some free information as well over in the EO Recipes Club. So if you aren't already enrolled over there, leahjacobson.com, scroll down to the green box. There is some information at the free level for muscle aches, as well as muscle cramps and spasms. But muscle aches is probably the one that you want to click on first. And I have some information in there that is available at the free level. Just click on Introduction to and grab some more info over there. And if you want to run any of that by me that you read to make sure that it's safe for you, that's great. Just as an FYI, the recipes I have in my EO Recipes Club are safe for everyone. I make them that way. I make them safe for the whole family. So they are going to be safe for all ages, safe for your kids, safe for you if you're nursing, if you're pregnant. Now, occasionally, if I have a second option or if I have 2 or 3 recipes for one specific situation, the recipe number 2 or 3 may have a safety issue where it's not recommended for kids, so use recipe number 1, or one of them may not be safe for if you are pregnant or nursing, use recipes number 2 or 1 or whatever the case is. So there's always going to be a recipe in there that is going to be safe for everybody. So just so you guys know, I make it a point to have it that way because why not, right? Okay, here's another question from Sarah in our pending. She says, my toddler has suddenly developed eczema. One of the remedies I saw online mentioned using tea tree oil diluted in a carrier on the lesions. Is this safe for a 2-year-old? If yes, what dilution should I make? Here's the thing with eczema. Often eczema is diet related. It's a food allergy, so I would definitely look into that. And I do have this information also in the EO Recipes Club, leahjacobson.com. Scroll down to the green box, enroll for free, click eczema in the menu. So it may be diet related. I would absolutely check into that. If it is a topical skin issue only, it may be a reaction to laundry detergent, dryer sheets, something environmental. And so I would look into that as well. Sorry, my throat is getting like super dry. Now, if it is in fact eczema and it is a reaction to something topical or environmental, it's possible that tea tree essential oil, being antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral, can actually help with that situation when diluted. So yes, it is possible that could be helpful, but I would definitely look into food allergies first, and other things first. But yes, using a tea tree essential oil diluted in a carrier oil on a 2-year-old can be appropriate. As for the efficacy, it really depends on what the reason for the eczema is. So I would definitely look into that. Any other questions about using essential oils with children? Throw them in the comments right there, and I will get to them as I see them come in. Monica has a question. Recommendations for teen acne. Yes, so go ahead over to the EO Recipes Club, click acne in the menu. Witch hazel alone can be very useful for acne. If it's hormonal, there's not going to be a whole lot you can do with it as far as topical issues. A lot of times our teens, they just do not change their pillowcase often enough, and their greasy hair because they do not wash their hair enough or whatever gets on their pillowcase. It's amazing how you can clear up your skin and your face just by making sure that you are washing your pillowcase more often than once every couple of months. So I would check that out. I would make sure that they have a good cleansing routine. Make sure that if it's a teen that wears makeup, that she's washing her face and cleansing, hydrating, all of that stuff. But witch hazel can help strip some of those extra greasy oils off of the face without being too drying, but it is a little bit astringent. And making sure that she has a good moisturizer. I'm saying she, I don't know, I'm making a whole bunch of assumptions here. But there are things that can help. So take a look at acne in the menu over at the EO Recipes Club for more information as well. You are welcome, Johanna. You are very welcome. Alrighty. So, any more questions about using essential oils safely with your children? I'm going to wrap this up in about 3 minutes, so get your last comments snuck in here. And those of you watching the replay, if you have any questions as well, please feel free to drop them in and I will do my best to answer them. Facebook notifications are not very reliable, but if you go over to leahjacobson.com and you enroll for our Learning Center, which you will find when you scroll down to the yellow box over at leahjacobson.com, scroll down to the yellow box, enroll for free in our Learning Center, and you can click Children on the Children's tab. Children on the tab in the menu at the top, and you can access a ton of information about using essential oils safely with your children. You can download the children's guide that has a whole bunch of information there as well. You can print it out, you can keep it handy. And as always, if you have any questions, leave them for us either here on Facebook. You can leave them over in our Learning Center, which is actually, you're probably going to get a response a lot faster because I get an email notification. It's right in my inbox saying somebody left a comment, and it's a lot more reliable than the Facebook notifications. Perfect. So I see a couple of last minute questions. That is perfect. Let me grab these before I get off. So let's see. Rebecca, as far as intermittent diffusing, is 15 minutes on, 30 minutes off considered safe? The diffuser I'm looking at getting has a 15 on, 30 minute off. Does this change based on age? So it really doesn't change based on age. This is to prevent olfactory fatigue, and this is for anyone. So once you enroll in the Learning Center, sorry, I have to point the opposite way. Once you enroll in the Learning Center, you can click Inhaling in the menu, and you can learn all about diffusing, all about times, all about anything to do with inhaling at all. 15 on and 30 off is not bad. I prefer the 10 on and 20 off, but that is pretty darn close. So if that's what you have, I mean, you say you're thinking about getting it, check out the Jasmine that I have over there. That is 10 on and 20 off, but 15 on and 30 off isn't much different than that. You just don't want to be diffusing hours and hours and hours at a time. It's just not going to be good. It could be more harmful than beneficial at that point when you are overdoing it. And that is going to be based on the simple fact of olfactory fatigue and inhalation, not on age. So yeah, that's fine. If that's handy for you to grab, go for it. What can I use safely for postpartum depression and anxiety? I was diffusing when my first two were under 6 months. I didn't know, but I found they helped so much. Is an inhaler my only option? I would definitely suggest an inhaler. If that helped so much, I would use those same essential oils that helped you, and I would use a personal inhaler, or I would use aroma jewelry, whether it's a necklace, whether it's a bracelet. Use aroma jewelry as well. I do have some information on anxiety over in our EO Recipes Club. leahjacobson.com. Scroll down till you hit the green box, enroll for free, click anxiety. I mean, if you have postpartum depression that essential oils aren't helping with, and you did say they helped so much, I would definitely please see someone. There may be other things that you need beyond essential oils, and I want to make sure that you have all the help that you can possibly get and that you can possibly need. So do not hesitate to reach out for that. Okay, so let me just make sure that there are no questions in our group real quick before I get off, because I've been on for an hour chit-chatting with you guys about using essential oils safely with children. So let me just scroll down, make sure that there's no more questions. I can't even see the live in here. You have to scroll up. Where is it? Oh, there it goes. Okay, perfect. So I think I got everybody's questions. You are very welcome, Crystal. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad you had your questions for me. If you need anything, just let me know. It was great chatting with you all, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.